My love has come home. Something like that, probably. But like, not as creepy, or maybe twice as creepy. Probably that. Yeah, that looks good. That looks great. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Ba-da-da. When we go to live, clicking on here, we're doing it live, baby. And now I got that muted. We're running a little later today. Little change up. Sorry about that. A little yawn. I'm a little sleepy. Don't tell nobody. Don't tell nobody. My main goal is to take a nap and then not tell nobody. That's me being riffraff. Got so many fun things to show you today. Yeah, we're running a little late though. And bag of dicks. Hit my foot on my chair. Fuck. Yeah, that's my fucked up foot. So. Jesus Christ, that hurts. Okay. I'm good. I think I showed these the other day. So, fuck me, that hurts. I'm going to show them again real quick. Foot's still messed up, I think. So, yeah, that's probably why. Project Mobius. I talked about that the other day for a good little bit, and about how pumped I am about them. Here would be, I'm going to pull up. Man, I can't believe I literally just smacked my foot directly into the spot that, like, I can look down, I can be like, yeah, that's a spot where my foot's still not good, and I just was like, smack. Oof, that didn't feel good. So yeah, Project Mobius. I'm really pumped about their stuff. I've been really digging a lot of the stuff that they've made. I'm probably going to end up subscribing to them like on the commercial tier, because if you do the commercial tier, you get 40% off in their shop, and I'm probably going to end up buying damn near everything that they've ever made. So I'm really pumped about it, because it essentially is giant, like adult Legos. And I really like that. I love Legos. But, so I was just going to kind of show these off for just a second. I've got a whole bunch of little toys that I'm going to blow my nose real quick. Okay. So, bunch of different little designs here. These are just different little floor panels, and they all connect. So I'm trying to make sure that I've got these, yeah, where you can see them. And I'm also going to try to make sure that I don't put anything on the ground that's going to cover up anything or smash anything that I'm working on currently. So these are a bunch of just different tiles. They all are hollowed out on the bottom, which I really like. Same thing with the half tiles. They're also hollowed out. And I printed these with Greeblin so Greeblin is a bamboo studio. Yeah, they're Bamboo Labs. Bamboo Labs X1 Carbon. And Greeblin is printing them with I want to say a 4. I want to say it's a 4. So I've never changed the nozzles on Greeblin. But Greeblin, and I'll say this, Greeblin also anyone that is like on the fence, if you're considering buying a printer like Greenland X1 Carbon, I'm probably gonna buy another one when they go on Black Friday sale again. To be honest, I will probably buy another one, or I will buy the P1. I don't know. I might buy the P1. So these are 0.2. This is a 0.6, and this is a 0.4. That makes. Why is this a 0.4? This might be a replacement. Complete hot end assembly with stainless steel nozzle. Complete hot end assembly with hardened steel nozzle. So yeah, that's the other thing. And I don't think I've ever talked about that on here. But the... Oh, I'll just show you these. Again, I've never changed any of this. So I don't know the entire... I don't know the entire process of how much work and how much effort it is. But that is the hot end assembly. And the whole one, I mean, again, I can't stress enough, the entire reason that I went with Bamboo Labs, I'm just determined to really hurt myself with my desk today. God. The whole reason that I went with Bamboo Labs is because they did a lot of the work for me, and that's what I needed. Me. A lot of people, absolutely. If you've been 3D printing, like if you've been FDM printing, like, just 3D printing, I'll say 3D printing. And especially because FDM printing was like the only real printing. Resin printing, it's a completely different thing. And you have to know, I keep saying, resin printing is a completely different beast when it comes, as far as making a model. They're also different. Yeah, I say way too much. And I only catch myself really being aware of that after like, actually, both are really the same, and resin and FDM are interchangeable and edible. Both of them are edible. But yeah, so right now Greenland is printing a absolute fuck ton of these little walls. So we can have the first floor of what is called the Ishikawa apartments. Both are going to kill you probably. Oh yeah, don't. Also, like, where my mind went with that, both are going to kill me, as in both printers are going to gain consciousness and kill me. One will be faster. It's Greenland. Yeah, the whole thing that I was trying to show with that, this is essentially, on other printers that I have had, you have to know what the hell you're doing. With Bamboo Labs, they tried to make everything as interchangeable as possible. So this is just the hot end, but this is actually the hot end assembly. So like, you just, I'm assuming, connect that and then connect these and you're done. It's supposed to remove a lot of the work out of it, which I gotta say, that's the entire reason. That's their whole thing, at least for me. And that's why I say, oh yeah, I'd probably buy the X1, or I would buy a P1 if I bought another. When they go on Black Friday sale, I probably will buy another because I could use one. I have 2 resin printers, which is not intentional. That I will tell that story. Because I don't think I've given an explanation on here as to why I have 2 very nice resin printers. I didn't pay for one of them. So if you are trying to do the same kind of vibe, know that I did not start out with the intention of having 2 very nice resin printers. I bought one, and the place that I ordered it from, everything about me ordering this printer was, I was the only one actively giving a shit about the transaction. Like, I wanted to give them money, and I wanted them to give me a printer, and I wanted the guy who brought the printer to give it to me, not a stranger. Not even at my house. But that is what happened. Is I ordered this, and the UPS guy just pulled up at a neighbor's house, did not even put it on their porch. He just got out and handed it to a person that was in the driveway. And like, that's a level of like so many lacks of fucks given on their part. So after I found that out, and this also happened while I was in Chicago. It happened there during Adepticon 2 years ago. Fuck, got my arm caught in there. Ow, what the heck? What the heck? It pinched me. It pinched me. So yeah, when I'm in Adepticon, we're like getting ready to go have brunch and it's snowing, and that was weird. But yeah, and then I get a call and they're just like, yeah, hey, we delivered it. And it's just like, my wife's like, I did not get a printer. There was no printer on the porch. And they're like, yeah, no, we gave it to you in the driveway. And I'm like, no, you didn't. I'm in Chicago. So yeah, then I opened up like a file and all this stuff. So I did everything to get my printer like replaced. And then my printer showed up. It turns out that the person that they gave it to was someone that was watching my neighbor's house while they were out of town, and they were rolling out the trash can. And while they were rolling out the trash can, UPS pulled up and was like, hey, would you like... Also, I can't stress enough, like, from just a personal standpoint, if I saw somebody rolling a trash can out and I'm a UPS guy, I wouldn't be like, hey, do you want me to give you... the box is comical. Like, it's a huge fucking box. Like, it's about that tall. Like, I mean, it's waist high. It's a big fucking box. It's just like, I can't imagine being like, hey, before you go back in, roll that can back in, would you like to carry this 3x3x3 cube that weighs a fuck ton into your house? But yeah, so UPS tried to give away my printer. So I opened up a claim, and they replaced my printer. And when it was being replaced is when it showed up. So I called and I canceled and I did everything. And I, like, on 3 occasions, I tried to make sure that everywhere possibly knew that, like, okay, no, you don't need to send me that printer. And they were like, yep, you're good. We're good. Everything's good on our end. And then like 4 days later, there were no other emails. Like, they're not like, hey, here's a tracking number. Hey, here's this stuff. It's just like 4 days later, another printer shows up at my house. And it's just like, and it's not listed like we have part of my account because they removed, like, and essentially I think they killed out my old printer to where it like no longer exists, and then sent me a replacement. And then I told them that they didn't need to do that, and they were like, oh, okay. So essentially I got 2 printers. That's why I have 2. At this point, it would be a fight to pay to send it back to them, or that's where I was at the time, and that was not just me trying to be a shitty person, but looking into how it had been handled. The company that I bought it from makes these kinds of mistakes often. I did not buy it directly from Bamboo Lab. No, sorry. I'm talking about Elegoo. Elegoo. I don't want to throw any company under the bus. I bought it from a very, very, very big company that typically only sells components that you put inside of computers. New components. I got it from Newegg. So, Newegg, if you want to try to buy a printer and maybe work yourself into getting a free one, try Newegg. They are not organized in any way. They clearly don't have their shit together. I'm not trying to be a dick. I'm just saying, like, I did not want to take an extra printer. I did everything in my power to not, like, get something free, because I'm fucking horrified of karma. Like, the concept of karma. I tremble at the thought of what others refer to as karma. No me without you for you. So, with all that rambling and ranting, it's a little bit later because it took a little bit to get out of bed. We had company last night, and we did not play any games, but we did talk and hang out for a long time. That was great, and he was very excited about all of this. He's not been over here since, like, I've started doing a lot of the stuff, so he had not gotten to actually see, and he had a little, his brain broke specifically with the floorboards, which at this point I've moved past thinking that they look that great, or I'm like, oh boy, we're really killing it here. But he was really kind of mind boggled by the floorboards when I told him what they were, and he was just like, they just look like floorboards. I don't understand. I was just like, yeah. It's just all the little details. Once you do enough little insane details, they just start to really stack up, and it becomes a compound effect. The more hyper detailing that you do, the more it makes the other detailing more noticeable, I think, or at least it makes it all just right. And so to go over what is going on down here, I've got a bunch of rock that I'm now trying to add back in because I did not factor in initially, and this is on me. And I'm not even like gonna say like, oh yeah, this is the wrong order to do it in, because it's, I honestly kind of like the order that I did it in because it shows how the rocks, the bricks would have fallen, whether or not these plants were growing here or not. And I did that pretty much by just stacking the bricks where they were on the wall, and then slowly letting each piece kind of like fall out and seeing where it naturally kind of ends up. So all of these should be pretty close to where they actually would fall out of the wall. The ones that are further away, that's typically they've fallen from such a high distance that they build up some kind of momentum to get a little further away. Hi, princess. How are you, sweet girl? You've been quite quiet this morning. Yeah. Yeah, little Margot. Anywho, so we talked about rocks. We talked about the Trench Crusade stuff, which that's the other thing. My buddy Sam had not experienced my love of Trench Crusade. He pretty much came in and he was just like, the first thing he said was, this doesn't really look like Warhammer. And I was just like, oh yeah, I don't fuck with Warhammer really anymore. And he was just like, oh. Well, I don't know what to do with that. Like, because it's just, again, keep in mind, that's like a huge part of my identity since middle school. Like, that has been just like, Warhammer has been such a key part to who I am for the vast majority of my life. Just from it was my number one way of escaping reality. So, Margot Possum said hi. She says, hey Possum, there's something going on down here in the sump pump. I gotta take a peek. She's really watching it. So yeah, the other side of this tube of Margot's crazy bong ripping machine, it goes to the sump pump. It empties out the water into the sump pump. So she's traced the tubes over there, and she's just like, where the hell are my bubbles going? I really like that she's kind of picked up this like almost like I'm trying to, is it, I want to say it's Pierre or Luis, I can't remember. It's whatever the shrimp from Finding Nemo. My bubbles. He's great. I love those kinds of shrimp. I think he is a trigger shrimp. He's either a trigger shrimp or a. It's the kind of shrimp. They're wonderful. If you, yeah, anyone. I can't stress enough. I could talk about aquariums and especially fish. So like I love reptiles and I love amphibians. I love animals. Fish and reptiles and amphibians though, really cold-blooded things and things that don't have fur are really like my jam. But I fucking love fish. I have only 4. I only have 4 fish tanks in my house now. Sorry, aquariums. I only have 4 aquariums now. At one point we had 7. There's a 36, a 15, and then 2 5s. We used to have 4 5s. I'm a very big proponent of betas. And they actually, and this is hobby related. I'll stick on that because like that, betas in particular are, I mean, fuck, I think that was one of the first things. I think that's literally the rant, my little circle jerkery the other day when I was writing tangent things that come out of my brain and how different things influence me. And at the end, I think I said at the end, I think I did the first little like article that like I wrote trying to explain why I do what was I think at the end I went back and I wrote hope died with the beta, and that's kind of like where the beta is as an animal and a species in like my worldview. It is just they are I love them so much, and it's so interesting to see like how they've changed since I was a kid. There's so many different types of morphs and different types of subspecies, and it's really fucking horrifying when you think about what we've done. Because those are not. There is one species. It's beta, like, and none of them look anything like anything you've ever seen, unless you've seen one wild. But they're brown. They're brown. The only beta I ever had was a little red one I named ODB. Hell yeah, ODB. I loved it so much. Old dirty beta. Old dirty beta. Yo, my girl is nasty. Oh boy, you stink. We could do a doggy style so I don't spill my drink. You sit on my face. I like that taste. I love ODB. Yeah. So, anywho, there's another ODB quote that I know, Tyler, you are thinking of right at this moment. And I want to say it so bad, but I'm just like, man, I don't know if I want a recording of me saying that. I'm not really proud of the thing I just said, quoting ODB. That was beautiful. The taste. I'm not, I can't. Ooh, I can't take that no more. I love ODB. Yeah, okay. I'm done. I'm not going to say any more quotes about eating butts or ODB. I love ODB. Rip. Rip. A fallen soldier. So that's ODB on Boondocks, right? Like that's who Riley paints on the side of that house in the Bob Ross episode, is when he says like, I don't know, maybe paint somebody that's not with us anymore. And it's just like Wu-Tang is for the children. Yeah. I really wanted gold fronts, but that's what you get when Wu-Tang raised you. Wu-Tang Clan ain't nothing to fuck with. And yeah, fuck yeah, dude. I'm all jacked up now, and I forgot what I was talking about. Oh, I was talking about betas. I was talking about betas. Yeah. So betas and why I like them so much, and fish and all these things. So betas are the very first animal that we fucked over, like as a species, and I mean that like not like we fucked them over in a different way, like in a worse way than the dodo. Like the dodo at least got to stay a dodo. Betas aren't betas anymore. Like we have. They are the pinnacle of like if you want to see like really what is gross that like humanity does. Like when you look at dogs and cats, and like all like breeding, like the concept of making animals reproduce to have certain genes and traits. Like we've been doing that for a very long, very, 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 very long time, long before Jeebus. And we started with the beta. The beta was the very first animal, to my knowledge, that we started fucking with. And we fucked with them for entertainment on every aspect of it. They are, to my knowledge, the origin of a fighting animal. Like Siamese fighting fish were the OG cockfights. And that is why they also have the fins that they have. They were bred to be as obscenely violent as possible. They essentially were a already aggressive fish, but in nature, Siamese fighting fish, betas, blendins. I'm trying to remember the actual name for them. But they look, if you've seen a female beta, then you've essentially seen what a beta is supposed to look like. They look like that, but brown. Very very little color, no color if any, just brown. They're just a brown little fish, and we bred them to have fins that are longer than their entire body. And I have one. Now his name's Vicious. That's again, I could talk about how fucked up we have made this species. Like our species has done this to another one. And it's, I don't know, it's interesting to think about because like we can talk about, how messed up it is, like the food industry, like, putting animals in cages, and it's like, yep, they just shit on each other until they fucking die. And it's just like, there's a whole, we've been doing monstrous things for forever, but the beta is one that most people don't even fucking think about. And I think the only time people really think about what the fuck have we fucking done, like Jurassic Park shit. We've been trying to do Jurassic Park shit. Centuries, thousands of years, millennia before computers. Like before we had the idea of Jurassic Park, we've been trying to make nature better in the stupidest fucking ways possible, by making betas exponentially more violent. Like they already were they're an aggressive species, but like taking that and breeding the most aggressive ones to be more aggressive, and then from there taking them and breeding them to have obscenely long fins, to have brighter colors. It's just everything that we've done, that we've bred into them, is for like our benefit, and every single thing that we do makes basic life for the animal harder. And it's really monstrous. Like, as someone who loves fish and betas, it is really kind of a not fun vibe to have betas, because like I have all of them in 5-gallon tanks, because I absolutely have a God complex, in that I like to give an animal everything that it needs, and I want to give it the best little life that it can. I think it's something that I've always very much gotten a lot of fulfillment out of, and I also I'm a fucking masochist. I'm very aware of that. I love the challenge of recreating a habitat found on another part of the planet, somewhere else, in a box in my house. Like, that is something that I have always loved. And it's talking to my mom. I didn't go on this, but I was talking to my mom this weekend, and it's so funny, like the things that like I have said on here about, oh, this is how I got into the things that I did. My mom started this and this with me when I was a kid. She pretty much was just like, no, growing up, I knew that things that were like, oh, hey, this is an issue with your kid. She was like, I knew that you weren't the one who was fucking wrong. She was like, it sucks. My kid's smarter than his teacher. And stuff like that. She was just like, I learned the things that I learned in the garden. I learned how to use my mind's eye. And that is something that, like, talking to my mom, I'm trying to explain this. When I was showing her this, and like I showed her a picture, she's like, let me get my glasses, and she was like, oh my god, that looks so good. And she, like, I zoomed out, and she's like, what are these? And then like she was trying to guess what kind of plants I got them from, but she said that she loved that, it's like each little spot you peek in, it's like a little story that you're learning. And it's that the whole reason I brought it up. I was like, hey, that's kind of what I do with my stuff. And I was just talking about this. We were sitting in her garden in the backyard, and she was like, yeah, do you like Francis? Francis is I'm trying to think of what is his name. Saint Francis. Saint Francis is, I guess, the patron saint of nature and animals. My family is not religious. It never has been. But my mom loves gardens. I love gardens. We love nature. So of course she got a statue of St. Francis for her garden, and he's just kind of peeking in there, surrounded by trees and overgrowth. And that's a big part of like growing up, was like going and picking out little figures, little statues to put in our garden at the various houses that we lived in, and then designing the garden so that it grows around them. Like that's the kind of stuff that like I grew up doing with my mom, that she did for fun. She liked to do gardening and making these little worlds in our garden. And like, it's fucking awesome now. Like knowing that like that's I see kids like now, and it's just like, man, I'm so glad I didn't fucking grow up with just like a computer in my hands. Like, because they clearly don't have the same kind of skills. Now, the downside of this, and this is what I was telling Sam last night, is my grip on reality is pretty fucking slim. I have way too active of an imagination. But I guess I'd take that over not having one. But it's like they say, Wu-Tang Clan ain't nothing to fuck with. So it is 7:27. I got started a little bit later because we both didn't want to get out of bed. That's really good. I do have some fun things to show because I got a package from Adam, Mr. Wire, and I'm very, very, very excited about it. He sent me some fun little things. The first one, what the heck is even this? Oh, that's a little hand. The first one is I believe it's the Mendicant Nurse. So these are the Trench Crusade Kickstarter models. I do not have any of these. I did not. Because I did not back the Kickstarter, because that was when I thought that they were all pro-Nazis. But they're not, so really stoked about that. But yeah, I'm liking that. I'm really liking that. Looks like good resin. These are not 3D printed. This is cast, I believe. It looks, yeah, that's a mold line. Huh. I wonder. It feels almost like PVC. But yeah, and that's so my thoughts on that. There's looks like some blood on my finger. I don't know where I'm bleeding from. We'll find out. Sorry if I just went off on a tangent too much about my mom and my gardening upbringing and betas. The whole, it sounds like the first Kickstarter stuff. Yeah, this is from the first Kickstarter stuff. The whole thing I was getting at with betas. They have a lot of problems with overgrowth, cellular growth, like uncontrolled cellular growth. And that is a very, 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 very big influence for a lot of the world building that I've been doing for this wretched inheritance, which is the game world that I've been working on. But it is very much influenced by the idea of you get what you reap what you sow, and cellular breakdown, degeneration. That's been something that has been I've wanted to showcase. It's always been something that is very horrifying to me. It's just cellular breakdown, like once, and that's what has happened. And the reason I'm saying that, what I'm talking about, that cellular breakdown occurs when an animal is, when you fuck with something's DNA and its genetics long enough, it will become unstable. And once that happens, it is it's straight up, you are just choosing to go into like some Cronenberg world. Like, it's just dealer's choice for nightmare fuel, and how you get what you get when you start fucking with genetics like that. And that is where we're at with the beta. And it's very disturbing to like see unfold in front of you, like if you don't know that it's coming. But at this point, because their genetics have been fucked with so much, they do not stay like you. One, betas are very much, and animals, all things, everything. If you are raised in a cup, you're going to kind of look like you grew up in a cup. But if you're in an actual tank, they have what's called a glow up. Vicious is the prime example of this. We typically say Vicious is the prime candidate for beta glow up. He's named Vicious because he was pure white. I bought him, he was pure white. We named him Vicious after my favorite anime, Cowboy Beanball. My favorite anime, Cowboy Beanball. Vicious is a very good character from there. He was solid white. He is red now. Like, he's red and teal. Like, he has very little white on him at all. And that's just because he is genetically unstable. One, they have set colors, and those colors, if they are in a happier environment, fish typically, most fish, if they are receiving better nutrients, if they are being properly cared for in the best way possible, they will have brighter, more vivid colors, as opposed to less dull. Betas especially. A beta going from living in a cup typically will have a glow up period where it will change. It will look like a different fish. When they act like a different fish. They're just very different. And here we're gonna get to the part that's not fun. It's really not fun at all. It's really really nightmarish and scary. Along with that, we get to the not stoked side of having your genetics ungrounded. And by that I mean we have fucked with them so much that we have a general idea of, yep, you get this, you mix that, you mix this. And eventually you're going to come up with babies that kind of look like this. And it's just like, yeah, that's true. But we know so fucking little about what we're doing. So the biggest thing that you see with betas is tumors, cellular growth, lack completely no control, uncontrolled cellular growth. That is the biggest commonality that I have seen amongst my betas. And like, again, this is like my house. We're talking like statistics that I've made in my home. That's how not good it is. Half of the betas that I have have had some form of tumor in the past 3 years, like 4 years, like, whereas that was something that like I never saw growing up. But it is the first one that we had that had a tumor was a dragon scale. Dragon scale is a newer species of, morph. It's a newer morph of a beta. Its scales are shaped like triangles, and it's supposed to have a very dragon-esque kind of look. This very cone-like scale. It makes them stick up, and it looks like a dragon, like from Game of Thrones. And they typically have a metallic kind of color, which again, I don't even know what the fuck you have to do to an animal to make it start having metallic skin. But whatever you have to do, his tail, he was I want to say a super. So there are different variations of tail length. And some of them, are just, his tail was as big as his body. And he chewed it off. Like, that is, if a beta's tail is too big, they will bite at it. They will bite it until it like gets to the size that they can live with and swim with. But he bit his tail off, and he kept biting at his tail while he was also growing a tumor at the bottom of his tail. So eventually it got to the point that his tail was like growing in on itself as this big mound, and we had to put him down. And then right now Camille has he's swimming fine, but he has a tumor on the side of his body that is about half his size. It's just a big mass. And then the most disturbing one, which is another dragon scale one, and this is about where I think I started to get the ideas of I want to play in this space. But dragon scales, the really scary thing about them is that their scales do not stop growing. And it is very common for their scales to grow and grow until they cover their eyes or their mouths or whatever parts that they need to be able to move. It's just really, really horrifying shit. And the reason I'm talking about that is, I think it sounds pretty obvious. I do a lot of horror shit. That is straight up where I get a lot of my inspirations, is taking things that happen in nature and applying them in a way that normally you don't think about. But that's probably the biggest way that I get most of my like ideas, is intentionally taking a concept that exists in the real world and trying to find a way to pervert it or to twist it and make it something that still resembles what comes to mind. Subversion is, I guess, the best. Like, it needs, I think horror, really good horror, should be subversive. It should lure you in And then once you've let your guard down, it should sink its like claw and its teeth into you. And like that moment that like when it grabs you, you're just like, oh my god, I hate this. Like that's the moment that like, yep, that's all the work of like trying to, you know, horror and build up suspense and that tension. It's all that moment that the claws like make contact with your skin, and you're like, oh god, this is happening. It's just that kind of stuff. I've kind of gone off on some tangents, some rants. Not last, there's two others. I got the Witch Hunter, Witch Finder from the first Kickstarter. I'm really excited about him. That was one that I was legitimately really pumped to actually just kind of paint. I don't know, I'm really excited about all of these models. Hi, honey. She's probably like, Dad, it's 7:38. Coffee. So Kelly's not feeling good today, so she is going to not have coffee for a bit. So I think we're going to go till like 8-ish. Hopefully all this that I've ranted about betas and all this stuff has not been just a waste of time. I think there's valid reasons, and it all adds up with my own kind of headcanon of why I'm talking about it. These, no. So that is a mendicant, I guess. So that's a mendicant, I guess. Yeah. That. Did James Sheriff sculpt these? Never mind. I was gonna say that looks a lot like an Escher gas mask, but it's not. Looks very, very similar though. I wasn't gonna make any accusations. The last little model that I was sent by Mr. Wire, by Dr. Wire. Adam is not a doctor, I don't think. He might be a doctor. His wife's a doctor. Was this guy. I do believe so. The Pathfinder miniatures. Oh no. So 7:40. So that's the time that we normally stop for coffee, but I'm gonna stop at 8. I started a little bit late. I'm sorry. So I'm gonna open this guy up. And it says warning choking hazard. That's weird. There's no way I'd choke on that. I do really like this little guy. I feel like what is happening is I talk about how I don't like metal models, and then people send me metal models that I like. But this guy just makes me think of Sly Snoodles. What is his name? I hope someone knows who I'm talking about. He's A New Hope. The guy who goes, I hope also anybody sees that and knows exactly what I'm talking about. New Hope, Sly. I don't know why the hell. Sly Moore is not who I'm talking about. I thought his name... I'm not going to repeat what I thought his name was. It's very silly. Yeah, no, okay, so that's his name. No, that's not his name. Sly Snoodles is the one from Return of the Jedi. So New Hope. Who's the asshole that gives away their position? New Hope Spy Mos Eisley. This asshole. Yeah, he reminds me of this guy. Garinden Ez Zaver. This guy. This asshole. Man. Jabba, you're a beautiful human being. I gotta tell you, I don't like his trunk very well. That's not good. I don't like that at all. Which also, I guess I kind of like it a lot. That is awful. Man. Kind of like old Panda Baba. That's the guy who gets his hand cut off. He goes, But yeah, I really like this little plague doctor. I like his little coat. And I like his little beaker full of all kinds of fun stuff, I'm guessing. If I had to guess. Probably plague doctor stuff. I don't know what a plague doctor would bring with him. Plagues. But I like his little nose. I feel like it needs to be bent just a... Whew. Problem with the pewter, at least in my experience, is you bend it just a little bit too far. Oh boy. I like that guy though. That guy is fun. And I like that I think he is about a 20... I bet he's close to 25 to 28. A vial of humors. I bet it is a vial of humors. Yeah, I bet he's closer to like 25, 28 millimeters high. That's 40. So yeah, I think I've covered that also. That is he 28? Yeah, no, he's like right at. Or is that 32? That's another thing. So no, he's the same height as all these people. I've been so used to a vial of humors. I've been so used to looking at all of the 1490 Doom guys for reference of height. And I forget because they are fucking tall. No, okay. He is like the same height. I like that. I really like this guy. Adam, I'm not saying that I want more metal models, but I'm saying, okay, I do like that one. I'm gonna just make a list of things that like I need to make sure I don't say, so people don't send me. But I do love this. I'm very, very appreciative. I'm gonna pay him. I have to figure out something to put him for. So, also, it had a who sculpted him, and I feel like I should at least say that. This was sculpted by P. Keith. Everybody knows P. Keith. I don't know P. Keith. Oh no. Oh jeez. Oh jeez. So today, Reblend has got about 2 more hours. It's just printing a shit ton of walls. While it's doing that, I'm going to work on the bricks and stuff today. Man, it's often weird trying to figure out what I need to be talking about on here. But it's just, hobby hang. So I'm just trying to wake up and get ready for the day. And also kind of deal with not really being awake. So today I'm going to finish adding up these bricks. I want to make sure that I get that. Metal modelers are cool. I came home from Under the Dice Fest laden with them. I really think I need to revisit metal models. And I absolutely, actually, I will say that I already, just based on this and based on my conversations last night with my buddy Sam in regards to sculpting a model for Ramshackle. But I mean, that really absolutely is my preferred. Like, I absolutely, when it comes down to what do you want, Eli, do you want a model that someone hand sculpted or like in as a single pose, or do you want a bunch of bits that were digitally sculpted? I'm gonna print the second one. Like that, I don't get anything like, and I think that's it, is the line between what Games Workshop, and I'm picking on Games Workshop, but that is who I am picking because they have made their entire like livelihood of their company. Well, it's based around essentially making you buy more and more toys. The entire company runs on getting you to buy more toys, more books to use the same toys, and then, not using the toys you have, but getting different toys. So it's a feeding into system. With metal models and pewter models, those used to be a very big thing with GW because they were all typically single, single pose. However, you can't really, I don't think, throw those together as quickly. In metal also, I'm trying to think of the best way to explain this, because at the end of the day, like even the single pose ones that they make, they're sculpting those digitally. They're reaching into a folder, and I mean, I'm not talking shit. I do this too. Like when you have an STL of guns, why would you resculpt a new gun? Just go grab a gun. That's part of it, but there's just very clearly a circle jerkery point, like where you get to a point where it's like, okay, we're not even trying to do anything original. It's just recycling stuff, and at that point, if it's just the same shit over and over again, I don't personally see any benefit in paying for plastic from them when I could print the same thing myself. Like the artist part is already gone. That's where I'm at. I guess there's something though about sculpting a model myself by hand and then knowing that someone is taking that physical model and making a cast of it. The human factor, that's really what it is. At this point in time, I have a very hard time justifying spending money. I spend money on two things: ease of use for myself, and then like value. Like human factor is such a big factor in that. Like, and I ranted about this with like my mom and someone else because she has a little table that was outside in her yard, and she's like, oh, I love this table. She was like, it's not a fancy table, but I can tell that it was built by someone who gave a shit. Like some little old man went outside and put this table together. It doesn't look fancy, but it is fucking solid. It is like a very solid, very well made little table. And that's I guess where I'm at. There are so many models that I've seen that I'm like, oh my god, that's beautiful. There's just such a difference when you're trying to please everybody. Oftentimes wind up pleasing nobody. And these are just me just saying things, thoughts. This whole thing comes down to, I went very much from I do not like metal models, I do not like to fuck with them, to I am starting to see value in them because I am appreciating that someone sculpted that and then it was cast. Like, and even if it's not cast like that, there's just a big difference between casting and essentially printing. And at this point, like, I would consider like what Games Workshop does, like their mold making process, Bandai, that's just mold making. That's a whole different thing than casting, in my opinion. So that's a long tangent about that. But I'm really excited. It's funny to think that I've gone from being someone who does not fucking like metal miniatures at all to actually they're pretty cool. They're pretty cool, and it kind of makes me want to dig into my old box and see if I've got any that are worth kind of getting out. I know I've got some old Black Templar characters, like some metal ones that I didn't fuck up. I know I fucked up the Emperor's Champion, and I'm okay with that. I want to say it was Juan Diaz who sculpted it. That name pops into my head. I'm sure if a Wire brother listens to this, they will be able to tell me. But I want to say it was Juan Diaz. I'm just grabbing these just for reference. This is like what I'm talking about. Like old fucking... this would have been 3rd edition. 2nd or 3rd edition. Tail end of 2nd. So this is the top half of the Emperor's Champion model that I hacked apart and tried to make into... I wanted to make a... That's what this is. This is my first entry back into 40K proper. When I started playing again after just doing E28, it's surprising how many classic B-Tech players prefer Battletech minis. I wonder if it has to do with weight, because that's so much of, like, I know why a lot of people like metal minis is the weight. They really like the way it feels in their hands, and I get that. I definitely get that. there is something that does feel kind of like, it feels right. It feels right having more weight, almost like a really solid chess piece. Like if you're playing chess on like a set that's like gold or not gold, a solid gold chess set, like a like glass. That's the first thing that popped into my mind was glass, because I've seen a lot of glass chess sets. Kelly's grandpa made a fucking gorgeous chess set. That like he made the board. I know he's made chess sets too. Like full with the chess pieces. I should look at that. I should look to see if they've got those elsewhere in their house. Kelly has a tattoo on her collarbone. Holding the Mad Pricker model from Tanner is heavy and it rocks. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I like that a lot. I definitely have gone. And it's just because now I appreciate the art of this. I did not see the art in it before, but now I do, and I appreciate it. I'm still not going to rush out and buy a ton of these just because they don't fit my version for what I want. For games though that, like that guy, man, this guy, I'm going to use him in something fun. I don't know what, but I love that little model. The nose is really good. It looks like a model that the Wires would send me, and I think that's part of why I love it so much. It looks like something. It reminds me of them. My three little scientist boys. It reminds me of something that they would like, and that makes me happy. But no, I'm really, really, really pleased. Also, to be fair, I think GW did some model making mediums so dirty. Oh, yeah, like fine cast. Oh man, I'm trying to think of what. There was a fine cast model that I bought that. The amount of people who hate resin because of fine cast is wild. I can't stress enough how, if you ever experience the very first fine cast, every bit of hate is not only valid, it is undersold. Fine cast is some of the worst model making I had ever seen in my life. And that is like, I can't stress also, keep in mind that like when I say like, oh, hey, how bad is this and how hard I go into it, it has to do with the presentation. If you present to yourself as Forge World, and you sell me a Scythe Hyrule, I expect that you have given at least half as much of a shit as I do about basic things with your job. Like, I assume that the model can go together, period. Like, I assume, like a fucking idiot, that if I've spent, $300 on a model that's made out of resin, that anyone in that factory has even fucking looked at it after it came out of the mold. And if you're thinking that I'm being too harsh, you're fucking wrong. I'm sorry to break that to you. That company's quality control, I can't stress enough, the only people that I think who have worse fucking quality control than Forge World are the fucking people that are killing our planet right now in the tech industry. And I am equating them to the kind of people that have told me, yeah, instead of us redrawing our paper, why don't we rotate the whole goddamn 500-foot tall tower? That's how fucking stupid those people are. So, yeah, that's where I think of when I think of the quality control from Forge World. I don't think I could say anything to put them down enough. They need to be put down. Like, for the people who run Forge World that are in charge of like looking over, like, hey, do we give a shit? Is it very clear if we give a shit? I can tell you, you've done such a bad job at your job. I will never buy anything from Forge. I won't ever buy anything from fucking Games Workshop again. But I actively tell people that Forge World is a joke, because it fucking is, and it has been. I don't think it's around anymore, but goddamn, that Scythe Hyrule. I remember distinctly purchasing it and being really excited. It's like, oh yeah, the detail's great, and it's just like the amount of fucking work that went into it on my part to make that model not look like dog shit because of how poorly it was cast. It's fucking crazy. And it's even the crazy thing is that like I defended that for years. Like, it may seem like I'm going really hard into fucking GW, but That's just because they literally raw dogged me for 25 years. Like, I mean, after realizing that, like, I've been taken advantage of for 2.5 decades, and then I guess that's it. I guess really the moment that I realized that when they redid Primaris, I think that's it. I think once I clicked with Primaris being redone and everything else that they did, and it's just like, wow, I had never thought about this from like my job standpoint, because, you know, as a design engineer, I have to think about things. I have to think about the way that we handled things as our company and how that made people feel. And one of my biggest arguments always was, you need to fucking look at the future. If the entire market industry is going to where an 85-degree antenna does not exist anymore, we can't find one, that's kind of telling you that 85 degrees is more than we can normally cover. So if everyone only sells 65, and we only have a 65 right now, if we rush and rush and rush to try and give 20 more degrees of coverage, but the rest of the market doesn't want to sell those antennas, eventually you're not going to be able to get that same antenna. And this becomes a problem because those people that were now not covered, they are covered. Whenever you have to go fucking do something again, they don't have 85s anymore. They just only have 65. So you gave people something and then you took it away from them. And that is exactly what I feel like Forge World did. Like, every time I bought something from Forge World, I was always so excited because of like the detail that you can get in resin and all this other stuff that you can get from resin. And it's just like, the resin wasn't the problem. It's just the quality control from that company is the worst that I've ever seen. It's just the worst I've ever seen. It's just bonkers. And for some reason, I think just because the love of the product made me accept that. And I don't do that fucking anymore. And I don't make excuses for shit fucking artists or, you know, shit creators. I don't do that because I don't do that for myself. And that's, I'm very brutal on myself, but that's because I guess I have standards and I have expectations, and I'm way too brutal on myself. But I also would never put out something anywhere near like any of those things. I can't imagine that. Again, that's just, I'm not trying to just rant about, oh, I don't like DW, or oh, I don't like Forge World. I don't really care anymore at this point. Like, I haven't been giving them money in the way that I used to for a decade. But at this point, I have to think about how my opinions impact other people. And I'm not, you know, slandering anybody. I'm literally saying what fucking happened. But yeah, my scythe power duel, I had to cut that thing's legs in all kinds of crazy ways. I had to resculpt half that fucking model. A key example, if you're wondering what I'm really kind of on about. Key example, this is a Warhound Titan. This, I didn't do this green stuff, but I mean, a friend of mine refuses to touch resin and metal, I have to assume because of GW. If they have been in it for like this kind of time period, that's why I would almost guarantee it. Yeah, and that's Forge World resin. Like, Forge World resin is not. Every other resin and metal model I've handled have been amazing. And see, that's it. Like, the first metal models that I fucked with that were not Games Workshop were those ones from Night Cage. And this is, I think, the second. I don't think I have metal I just don't buy metal models, but all of them that I have were pewter Warhammer models, and all of them, my hatred of them, it's almost, we started in 2012. Gotcha. Okay, so I started in 2000. Yeah, right around 2000. 2001, right there, with Codex Tyranids in 3rd edition. I'm pretty sure 2001. It was right before Tau launched. And I think they came out in 2002 or 2001. But, yeah, that's long tangents. I didn't mean to go off and rant about my hate of Forge World or Games Workshop. I don't hate them. I'm upset by them. They hurt my feelings, so I'm still trying to get over that. I just think that they should do a better job. In general, we got in at the end of 5th, and then 6th came out, and then 40K. So yeah, I can't stress, like, I don't know at what point in time I started to really not like the game. But I remember the difference between 3rd and 4th. I was excited because models got the ability to run, and I thought that was cool. I'd say 5th. I'd say 5th is the last time that anything. 5th is when. 5th is right around Apocalypse, right? I think 5th came out right around Apocalypse, and I'm pretty sure 5th is the one that 4th or 5th had Apocalypse. But that's like the main time that I played. And then yeah, 6 sucked. 7 was great in some parts and absolutely abysmal in others. But 5th had Apocalypse, yeah. So I never really I bought stuff for Apocalypse. The book was so fucking sick. Yeah. Yes, it was. I don't think I have that book anymore. I think I gave that one to Half Price Books. I've still got the backpack. That's my big backpack that I carry when I go to conventions and stuff, typically. Where are you? Ow. Here it is. This guy. This is the Apocalypse. Like when it came out, Apocalypse, when it came out, it had a collector's edition like that you could get. It came with a case. Did it come with a case? No, it was a bag that would hold a case. Then grab the 6th edition Apocalypse book. Oh my god, I hate it. I don't know what that one looked like, but oh boy, I'm sure. Yeah, that's that. I can't stress enough. That backpack sucks. Like from a comfort standpoint, it is the most unsupportive backpack I've ever worn. It will kill your spine. It's not made to care about you. I really saw the corporate shift from 5th to 6th and how they drain the soul from my feet. That's it. Like, I didn't realize it at the time, but during that time, I'd already left to just do, I think, Fantasy Flight, and it's because it just very quickly, the moment that the game stopped being, I'm using this to tell stories that I see in my head that are taking place in this world, to, it's almost difficult to use the rules to create a realistic scenario with the models. Like creating an army, an actual like setting, creating like, oh, these people are fighting these people, and like getting a good like, oh yeah, it makes sense, or this combination of this is who your army is, that has become so fucking crazy that it's just like, I don't know. I much prefer skirmish, just because also it's just I think when you look at a thing from the point of, oh, it's an army, you've got armies fighting, I think scale needs to be pulled back, and I've always thought that. I think epic is really, I think 6mm, 15mm, anything smaller, or you just need to play on a fucking huge board. But who's got the space for that, or the time? I don't. I am thinking I'm a little sweaty. Might be time to put some deodorant on. I keep smelling that. I just thought I'd let you know so you can kind of get an idea. I'm a little stinky, a little sweaty. And I'm also kind of tired. I think I'm going to call it here. It is 8:07. We've been going for 69 minutes. So yeah, that's we got to go here. We got to stop here before we hit 70. On that note, I'm gonna probably call it here. Thank you so much for hanging out with me and for keeping me company and listening to me rant and talk about betas and about little models. Hopefully some of that was entertaining. hopefully I kept you company while you're doing your stuff this morning. If you are tuning in later, thank you for listening so much. If you're tuning in now, thank you so much. I really appreciate the time. Anyone giving any of their time to me, I appreciate that. I appreciate you, buddy. Thank you for the stream. No problem. Thank you. I think I'm gonna go, but I will talk to you guys later. Sit pretty and have a good day. Take care.